Okay, Michael Heldman joining us. Man, this is God. It's like a few days ago. You just got to Central Michigan, and now you competed, and you had a great senior year. You just had your pro day. Like, how the heck are you taking this all in emotionally?
Man, just one day at a time. It's just like, you know, when you get here, Coach Mack and everything, first year, all the older guys are like, you know, you just look at everything. And you're like, wow, this is cool. You're in college football. You're playing D1 D1 football. For the first time. It's just cool to be a part of a great program, and then you're going out there working your butt off to just go try to break a starting lineup. But, you know, if you don't, that's cool. You're still young. So, you know, just kind of that all mixed in your mind, and then all of a sudden, you know, one of the best edges statistically in the draft. You go out there, you dominate senior season, and, you know, you just had your pro day, and it felt like yesterday I was watching Thomas Incoom do his pro day. Back in early 23. It's just, you know, seeing Bernard and Luke doing theirs in early 22, you know, and it was just cool seeing all, like, being in that moment that those guys were at, you know, and so it was just cool to be there, and, you know, time flies when you're having fun. So
it really is kind of that, like, full circle, right? You come in as a freshman and learn from the guys that are older and get to see them do some of the things that you hope to be doing at the end of your career, and you finish so strong with a great senior season and now competing in the pro day and being in that spot. Like, it's awesome, I'm sure, to go through that.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just like I said, growing up, you know, when I first got here, you had, Troy Hairston, you had, you know, Sadiq, you had Thomas Incoom, you had a lot of guys, and it's just like, you know, those are the guys you looked up to, right? Laquan Johnson, another guy, but those are like the guys you looked up to. Those are the main guys there, and, you know, you just see them when they did their pro days, you know, just going out, attacking it, and, like, seeing them growing up, and then all of a sudden you're in their shoes being the guy, you know, the senior, you know, trying to lead this D-line, you know, just be great on the field for the team. And like I said, full circle moment. Like, I'm like, oh, I have so much time watching these guys. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And now I'm like, oh, wow, we're already here. So it's just like I said, it's just a cool full circle moment. So
what did you learn? Because I think your first year was 21 and you played a few games, but you redshirted. But what did you learn in those early years from some of those guys to get you ready for, you know, trying to then be the leader of the defensive line and the defensive unit?
Well, the one thing I really learned was size doesn't matter, right? I mean, Troy Hairston, like, he was a guy who was, like, I think just below 6 foot. Might have been 6 foot. I forgot, but he was, like, you want to talk about a strong dude? He was strong. Like, I swear he could have had 200 dumbbell, like, in each hand, and just, like, he was repping out 150s, I think I saw one day. But he was strong dude, very quick too, very fast, and, like, great leverage. And, you know, seeing him going out there and dominating Power 5, at the time, Power 5 teams, and dominating the MAC, and he was just a great end. And then you see Incoom dominating as well. It really, what I learned was you just got to have a motor, and you got to keep going. And it doesn't matter about size, it matters about heart, and it matters about outworking your opponent and outsmarting your opponent. And that's what I saw from those guys, right? You know, Sadiq was a fast guy too. He was a running back before he played D-end, right? And, like, you know, just go out and be great. Laquan was also just a great guy, had great plays, and just was, like, had a big impact on the team too. So it was just like those are the four guys, like, I learned a lot from in many different aspects on the field, and just going and just attacking every single day, right? And going and be aggressive, because, like, I'm a teddy bear off the field. I'm just a really cool, relaxed guy. But, like, on the field, like, I've had to learn to upgrade my switch, because my switch, like, I could switch and be mean, but, like, I needed to be more aggressive, and those guys taught me how to be more aggressive. They showed it, and you just got to go out there and be a dude, to censor. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I learned from those guys. And I was able to work through it and grow that as the years went on. And, you know, you go out there and you know, we play Michigan and Pitt. It doesn't matter who we play. Like, you just got to go be great. You know, I went to the Hula Bowl and I went to the Shrine Bowl. Like, you played against a lot of great guys. And you just got to go be great no matter who you're playing against, right? They're still human. They bleed the same. So that's just kind of what I learned from those guys. And how to throw a couple good moves.
There you go. And I mean, it is really cool, though, because you've been getting great experiences. Like, you've been busy. So I want to ask you, like, after the season ended, after you guys played Northwestern in the bowl game, tell us everything that's been going on, including some of the things you've been participating in.
Yeah, so after the bowl game, right, I was just like hurt my elbow a little bit. You saw that, you saw that happen. And then I'm like, dude, I can't just quit on this team, So I'm like, all right, just putting me in a brace. Went out there, played a little bit more, and then, coach took me out. Didn't want me to get hurt further. So he took me out, and then I'm just like, all right, we lost the game. It sucked, but it was great to see how the young guys played, and it was great to see that they put a good foot stomp or a footprint for what they're going to be building off of. And then I went to go start training, and it was my birthday. I showed up to January 2nd. It was like showed up to get measurements and stuff at my training facility just to see where we start at. And then after that, we did some things. And before that, I got a hula bowl invite. My agent got me an invite, and I'm just like, all right, sweet. It's a senior bowl. And I was like, all right, bet. Let's take advantage of it. So I go, I ball out there. And, after that, come back, I train for a week. And, the Shrine Bowl starts to happen. And on the day of the first day, so like everyone gets in, they're taking pictures, doing a bunch of interviews, getting cool gear, just kind of a chill day, before the first practice. And that was like a Thursday because we were working on our max velocity, which is like running straight. And after the workout, I'm sitting there. My agent's calling me. A bunch of people from the Shrine are like, hey, we want you to come in. I'm like, all right, bet. So that day, I go back to my Airbnb. I'm packing all my clothes, trying to get to the airport on time. Getting through Tampa and Orlando traffic is horrible. So I had my helmet too, and I had to go get it from the wife's place in Tampa. So just flew me out of Tampa straight to Dallas. I think it was Dallas. Yeah, Dallas, and then they had an Uber, or they had people for me to pick me up and take me to Frisco. And I was there, and then I got there at like 11. I woke up the next morning, and I got the playbook that morning right before practice.
That's all you need.
Yeah, and we kind of just attacked it. I was like the third string guy because there was only two sets. There was a starting group and then a second string group, and then I was just like a third guy added in. And so I just took advantage of every rep I could and made the most of it. And I was glad to say I was able to win one bowl game out of 3. We lost the Hula Bowl, and the Game Above Sports Bowl. So, but it was just a cool experience. I was able to get a sack, a couple tackles in that game as well. So, like I said, against great opponents. So, what I'm saying? There's so many things I was blessed to have. And I noticed that every day of the Shrine Bowl, I just got better and better and better. Same thing with the Hula Bowl, better. So, like, there was just so many things that I'm just blessed about. I met with a lot of scouts that were here today at the Pro Day I've already talked to, so it was cool to see them here. But, yeah, that's just kind of how it was. And then after that, I continued training. I extended a couple weeks just because we were supposed to be March 4th for our Pro Day, and we got them to move back to the 18th. I'm like, so it gave us like an extra week or 2 to train more. So, it was just – that was my experience. Like, it was cool. And it was exciting to just experience those bowl games and just get exposure to scouts and show them that I can play with the best of the best. So
you've been busy.
Yes, very busy.
Which is great. This is what you want. And you just mentioned you literally, like, he just got done with Pro Day. We were like, hey, you do all the drills and then come talk to us. How did everything go today?
Great. I had great numbers, ran fast, jumped high, benched a lot. So it was a lot. It was great. And that energy, they weren't wrong about the what is it called, adrenaline hitting. So I think I hit like a 40-inch vertical today. So that was definitely a big boost. Hit some good reps on bench. And then broad, I thought it was okay, but we'll take above 10. And then I felt like I was running fast. They had to ice us though, because after our broad they went to go. Because I thought we were going to go right into the 40, and they went to go work with the kicker. It was kind of a blessing in disguise just because we were able to stay warm, get our legs back a little bit before we ran, so felt good. I felt ice for a second, and then I realized that, like, don't feel that way. The Lord works in great ways and blesses you with many things, so maybe this was a blessing to just get a time to get your legs back a little bit so you can run fast. So, I ran fast, had great drills. Some of the scouts wanted me to work on some drops because they run like a 3-4 defense. So I did some drops, and a good thing I worked on that during training because I thought I felt smooth out there. Although I did not have gloves, so I had to get a little moisture on there so I can have some stickiness to catch football. So
There's a lot that goes into this, man.
no, there is. You just got to be prepared, and you never know. I never thought they wanted to see that, and they did. And you just got to be prepared. You know, some of the backs seem kind of like close together, working on doing the spin and like stuff. But you know what? You got to adjust. You always got to adjust in life because you never know what it's going to throw at you. So that's really how it was, and I had a great day. My back is feeling the jumps and some of the runs, but it's all right. You know, it's worth it. So.
That's why we got that nice cushion chair for you, just to sit back and relax for a second.
Relax, exactly.
You know, the scouts also, I'm sure, wanted to talk to you. You know, that's part of this too. Like, you got to go out there, perform really well, and do a great job for them. But they're trying to get to know you because they're trying to tell the individuals with the team why you are a good person and why you would be a potential good fit for their franchise. So how do you handle that whole part of it?
So I talked to a couple of the scouts who were like, I know the Panthers and the Saints. They talked to me because they wanted me to do some of the drops, you know. But I really got a lot of my interview process during the 2 bowl games. Sat in, talked to a lot. Like I said, talked to a lot of those guys there. Got to understand, you know, their organization, and they got to know who I was. So just, you know, background checks and just get to know who I am as a person. So there were a couple of teams I met with that weren't here today, but it's all right. They got jobs to do. But, you know, that's the cool part about those bowl games is I was able to get those in and, you know, have those before the pro days just in case, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was good to get those in before, you know, pro day. So I had those relationships, and then all they need to see is just see me test and then possibly talk to them more after. But they already talked to me. So there's good there. And I think the biggest thing that I did today was it's just a blessing for them to be there, right? And so that's why I went around and I shook every single one of the scouts' hands because I'm like, thank you very much for being here. You don't know like how important it is to have scouts here to see other guys, to just, you know, give everyone a chance. And that's why I just went around and just shook their hand like, thank you very much. It was great to see you today. And, you know, be safe going home. So it was great to see all the scouts there that showed up and, you know, were interested in some CMU Chippewas. So I'm just glad the Arizona scout was there too because I know, you know, their head coach is a big Chippewa guy. So
yeah, I think
at least they were there. Yeah,
that's right. Wow, that's awesome, man. It's and you can hear the energy and enthusiasm and how much passion you're putting into this, which is what it takes. Are you leaning on anybody for advice, or who you talking to as you go through this process for the first time and just try and put your best foot forward?
Yeah, so I have a lot of people. I know like the trainer LB that I train with at X3 Orlando, him and Des Walker. Des Walker I've been training with since I was a kid, really in high school. Got me to just be a better pass rusher off, you know, just my hard work I put in and wanted to put in the details. Like that's just who I was able to, you know, lean on with just trying to be a better, you know, D lineman. And then, you know, LB got me right with my testing, right? And I told some guys, like, if you want to go train somewhere, like, that's a great place to train. And I'm not saying there were other places that weren't good to train, but, like, you know, he helped me get my numbers where they needed to be. And, you know, they understood the process, so they helped me understand the process and just trust in it. Because some days I felt like my numbers were slower, and they're like, dude, just trust me. You know, you got fatigue settling in from workouts. It's going to be fine. That pro day, you're going to be fresh. And I'm like, you're not wrong. So they helped me, you know. My wife, she was a good help with, like, you know, just making sure I was on top of eating, you know, keeping my weight, you know, just holding me accountable in many areas, you know, just being smart. And also when I was with her on the weekends, you know, just taking care of each other and just being with each other, like not going doing some fun stuff. Just there are times I saw her, she came up to see me. I went down to see her because we're only like an hour and a half away from each other, Orlando and Tampa. And we just lay down with each other because it's good to be with your wife. It's good to be with the one you love and just really just relax, especially from putting all that hard work in and stuff.
Yeah, it's not always having to be doing the elaborate things. Sometimes just be with that person.
Yeah. And then, like, you know, my in-laws, my father-in-law does his Michael research every day. You know, he likes to get on the internet. A lot of people do that that I know in my family. But he always likes, I call him like every day. He's, you know, I'm glad I'm able to have a great relationship with my father-in-law. You know, he works hard and, you know, he likes to motivate me a lot too. So that's also one. My mom too, whenever I can call her because I know she's busy. But also like my pastor Wes, he's like been a huge part spiritually too, because spiritually sometimes you feel like you're not. I don't know. Sometimes it just gets rough. When you put a lot of hard work in, sometimes you can, find yourself in a bad spot. And there are times I've called him because he's a busy man too. But like when I call him, we sit down, we look through the word. We're like, all right, it's all right. It's going to be okay. Just trust in the Lord with all your heart. And, it's going to be, he will bless his children. And, sitting down and talking with him about that is just huge, and having that resource. So I have so many resources in my life, and people motivating me. There are times I would get on a call. I set up a call every Saturday night with my family during the training and be like, all right, so here's who I talked to. Here's how the training's been. They've been all motivating me and just, putting so much time into me, and I thank them so much. So, like, that's kind of where my support system is and really who got me through this. So
I want to go back and talk about when you're really young and you're growing up. But before that, this place right here in Mount Pleasant, you chose to come be a Chippewa. You chose to play for a coaching staff, and then you didn't get to choose about this coaching staff that came in, but you continued to grow and get better. You met your wife here on campus. I mean, you've done a lot. You've made a lot of friends and connections for life. When you get asked about Central Michigan University and this football program for the rest of your life, what are you going to say about this place?
One, it's the only one of the 3 schools that are connected to the tribe, and that's such a huge thing. But really, the biggest thing is just the relationships you create, right, and just the bonds you have. Like, there's so many guys who have grown spiritually in this building. I even saw some coaches before in our old staff grow spiritually a little bit, and just the impact Christ has had on this program. And I was able to have friendships that'll last for a lifetime. I have a wife that'll last for a lifetime. So, there's so many things that you see from Central Michigan. And I know we're a small school in most of the nation's eyes, but I'm not going to lie. We're definitely on the map somewhere as a small school. So it's just like one of those places you hear Chippewa, you're like, ooh, I know he's bad. Like, bad, not bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
He's like, oh, he's a bad
He's
dude.
got it. He's a dude, as you're
he's
saying.
a dude, yeah. I don't want to cuss. So, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's just what you think of Central Michigan. A blue-collar dude who just puts his nose on the ground puts his hand in the dirt and just goes at it and attacks it. And that's just who we are. That's just like what we've built. And like, not even just hard work, but like guys have talent too. And like, you've seen it with, Staley, Fisher, Bernard, those are guys I've been around. Bernard and Gedeke, Nkun, like a lot of guys that were in the league. Like, even Troy Harrison played defensive end. He ended up playing fullback, starting, made the 53-man roster his rookie year, and was like playing great. So like, there's guys that like, Central Michigan, and that's just kind of what you see from us. And Tyler Conklin, like another good example, and Joel Wilson, like so many guys in the league that are just like, what I'm saying. So it's that's just kind of what I think of like Central Michigan. You create families here, you create like relationships, and it's for a lifetime. So.
And everybody comes from different backgrounds and different areas. And your background, I mean, you faced a lot of adversity growing up. It was just your mom. You had a couple of siblings that were with you. I've seen some of the articles that have been written on you from Andy Sneddon in here. Maybe didn't have the most money and had some anger and trying to figure out like where to put that. But like, take us through all of the background that you had and how it has shaped you into what seems like a very centered individual, knowing what he wants and finding something more up here in Mount Pleasant. Well,
I forgot to mention this earlier. It should have been my first thing, but like, it really comes down to my relationship with Christ. Like I said, I was a bad kid growing up, and like, he was the one who got me through everything. Even if I feel like no one loved me, I knew he did. And I knew I was going to do it like for the rest of my life. I knew once I accepted him as my savior, I was going to do what I can to praise him and just bless him with whatever he's blessed me in life. Or not bless him, sorry, but like praise him with anything he's blessed me in life. And, for my wife, for my family, and I want to be able to grow, in a household with kids who do the same thing, right? And he blessed me with abilities to play football and a hard motor, and I'm not gonna just sit down and waste that. I'm gonna go and do it for his glory, and like that's also the one thing that also got me through training, through life, through football, was just being able to sit down and just pray, get into the Word, because if nobody or nothing feels like it's for you, that one person that is always for you and never against you is Christ. And that's the one thing that has gotten me through everything, out of my anger issues, has gotten me to work hard to be here. My mom didn't even have to pay for college. I earned my way to go get a free scholarship. And I'm working for every penny for that scholarship. I'm still in my master's, and, I'm doing what I can, and it's all thanks to Christ and what he's blessed my life with and my family with. And, I feel like if there's one thing that someone could take away from all this is that, like, he is for us, he's not against us. And that's just how my life was able to change around and be positive with these guys, help guys who are struggling with certain things in the locker room, inviting them over to that's just, I want others to feel that they are loved too. And that they're, like, they can be a great player too, as long as you put your mind to it and you trust that the Lord will provide, because he will. And that's really what got me through, the stages, being bullied in high school, in middle school, just, guys making fun of me, guys trolling me, being an angry kid, just really all that, so much burden on my shoulders, and Christ just lifted it off. And I'm blessed to have a great church. I had a great church, First Baptist Church of Rochester. I grew up, great church and great family. And, great church here in Mount Pleasant, First Baptist Church in Mount Pleasant, great family. And they were able to help me through a lot, especially, freshman year of college. Like, there's a lot. And that's just kind of what I found myself to grow and just to be better. Just be, like, reason why you see such, like, a selfless and, like, a humble person is just because it's not my own doing, but it's his. So that's kind of where you see Michael Heldman. That's who Michael Heldman is. I don't want you guys to see Michael Heldman as Michael Heldman. I want you guys to see Christ. And that's why I do as best as I can to replicate him and his glory. You'll even see my tattoos that I'm putting on my arm. I know you definitely saw the half sleeve working on it, but that's just kind of how I got through things. So,
when are we finishing and making it a full sleeve?
Well, I do got another appointment on Friday. So
okay.
The wife is working hard, and she knew that, like, I want to have a sleeve, and she was like, "Babe, I'm working hard, extra hard, so you can make that wish come true." And so I know that with hope, pray that the Lord puts me in a great spot with money. She's gonna get spoiled. That's for sure. So, but yeah, so that's just kind of how I live my life, and that's why I am who I am today. So
it's a great message for anybody that's young or that maybe doesn't quite have it figured out, or maybe is not in a good spot in their life right now, to hear your story and know, listen, it's not just perfect your entire life. Like, life is hard. You face adversity, but it seems like it is wired to make you stronger and become the person that you are today.
Yeah, and it's not like I want to spread the message just because I want people to know that there's someone who loves you and cares for you. It's not a I want to force you to be in this. It's not like, you should never force someone to believe in something, but you should also always give them the opportunity to know that there is someone out there who loves you and that died on the cross for you. And, whatever you want to do, if you want to accept that, cool. If you don't want to accept that, cool. It's all up to you. And that's what I want people to know, is that there is hope. There is always hope. So, that's really the message that I'm just trying to portray and trying to give to people, that I felt like I never had hope. I was in a dark spot when I was a kid, very dark. And when I realized that there was hope, I accepted it. And, whatever you want to do is, whatever helps you in life, helps you in life. I just know that that's one way that'll give you hope and that'll give you joy in life. So
I'm going to go a completely different route here, because this is just what I do. You and I have talked for years since you've been up here, and you've always been great and learning more and more about you and the team. But, like, I read something this morning that I didn't know about you. you sang the national anthem before one of
boy.
your rivalry football games your senior year.
I did. I think I had 3 sacks that night too.
How in the I know you had like a theater background, but like, dude, you're getting ready to play a game against your rival, and you just went out and sung the national anthem beforehand?
Yeah, I remember working on it a little bit. One of my friends, her name was Alexa Hannaford, I think. Yeah, she we were in choir. A lot of us were in choir, and I she sang the national anthem many times. She has a great voice, and I remember I'm like, listen, I'm nervous as crap. I think I practiced it with her a little bit. I'm kind of fading memory a little bit. It's like 5 years ago, but I think I met with her like once to just work on it. And Jeff Hinkle was also one of our choir director too, so I'd work on it with him a little bit too. But I was like nervous because I'm like, dude, like I'm about to be in front of people. I mean, mind you, it was COVID, so there weren't that many people there. But like, dude, this is nerve-wracking. And I remember going out there. I ran out the tunnel, and with those pads buckled tight and that air running short, I'm like, all right, I hope they give me a second. They're like, here, go ahead. I'm like, are you serious? I can't even get a breath to sing the first note. What are we doing here? Like, you need your diaphragm. You need to be able to breathe so you can sing. I'm like, oh gosh, all right. I'm shaking too. The adrenaline's going bad. So I'm like, dude, I swear it started off so bad in my mind because I'm shaking. I'm like, oh, like, I'm like, gosh, this is awful, but you got to keep going. It got better towards the end, but dude, it was the adrenaline hit and like I'm out of breath and I'm like, dude, screw it, let's go. So I sang. People can tell you how it sounded. I know to me it sounded bad, but you'll let the other people like, I don't know what they thought, but I just got it done. Sang the national anthem. All right, bet. Take a breath. Now let's go dominate the field. And I think I had like 3 sacks. Had a great game, and we beat our rivals for the first time in a while.
So what he's saying is good things happen when he sings the national anthem.
Yeah, good or bad.
All right, well, here's the problem. There's no video of you singing the anthem. So I didn't ask you this before, but like, you want to go? You want to take it away?
No, I'm good. My voice is kind of scratchy right now. I definitely don't. I'm good. I haven't sang in a while. Well, I do sing, but like I haven't professionally worked on it in a while, so I don't want to blow up on the internet for the wrong ways.
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait for the good ways.
I got you.
It's gonna be weird not having you here because we've been able to watch you for so long, and all the things you've accomplished, and the record for quarterback hurries is now yours, and obviously, you guys had a great season, and you compiled an excellent senior individual season, but, like, this is going to be really fun to see this next journey, this next step for you to see, like, what happens, and, hopefully like, all of Mount Pleasant, Central Michigan, we're behind you, man. Can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited for, like I said, what the Lord has in store for me in the future, and I'm excited to, go have a great career in the league, keep putting Central Michigan on the map and be one of the greats. Eventually, I'd love to come back here and see my name in the Hall of Fame for Central Michigan. But, I can't wait to see who wears 97 again. Hoping they got some big shoes to fill. But, records were meant to be broken. And numbers, I feel like, were meant to be worn for the next generation. Because, I had to make 97 stand out. Like, that was my number. I wasn't going to change it. Some guys change numbers, and there are reasons. But, like, if you really don't have a reason, go make your number your number. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see what CMU has for the future. See some more 97s go out and ball and see records broken. I'm excited to see the future for this program, especially with Coach Drinkle. He did a phenomenal job first year, and I think he's going to be doing an even better job. And like I said, I feel a three-peat coming up in the future. Weird feeling, but I feel a three-peat. I'm telling you right now. So
we'd be happy we just won, but 3, that'd be great too.
Well, yeah, and I want the future generations to have the rings I never had.
Yeah.
So
I got one more question for you. We're going to talk with your senior teammate Jordan Kwiatkowski, and I would love to just hear your thoughts on who he is as a person, how fun it's been to be by his side, play with him on defense as he is chasing the same dream as you, hoping to get drafted and play in the league and extend his career as well.
Yeah, and like I said, you want to talk about a dog, like he's a guy that just works. He goes and works and he attacks, right? Some days will just be like, this sucks. We got up early. Some days, and sometimes it could be like me too. But like, we kind of just look at it, look at our jersey, look at our stuff, and we're like, all right, let's just get to work. And that's just who he is. He's a guy who just gets to work, and communicating with him was just great in the season. Sometimes there might have been some off communication. Maybe I didn't hear, maybe he didn't get a call, whatever it is. But that never really changed a thing because he still balled. We still communicated. My favorite memory on the field with him was after I hit the ball out of the quarterback's hands. He intercepted it and ran. Like, I was trying my best to make sure the guy wasn't going to tackle him. I'm like, dude, slow down for a second. But no, he had that touchdown. I was so happy for him, man. Just celebrating with him too. Like, that was a memory. And I remember I played him in high school. He had to step in to block me. They had to put 3 guys on me. Pause. And he sorry. They you know what I'm saying? And I just remember him being a baller in high school, played running back and linebacker. So I wish he was our linebackers. You know what I'm saying? But he was a great linebacker, and he signed to CMU, and I'm like, bet. And he worked his way up from special teams to a starting linebacker, or rotating, and he'll find his way. He'll be a guy that'll go onto a team, and he'll find his way onto a team, and he'll have a great career. And I can't wait to see how he does. He's a great, like I said, great dude. Knows what he wants and knows what he's going to get. So I'm excited to see how everything works out for him, and hope gets good blessings. So
for both of you, man, it's going to be awesome to watch. But it truly has been so fun watching you grow up, not just as a football player, but just find yourself as a person, center yourself, be locked in, give everything you got for this program, for this university, man. It truly is special to watch that process right in the start when you got those big eyes, you know what's going on, and then you get to the end, and it's like, okay, you know where you're going, and you have bigger things ahead of you, man. So congrats on all the success, and seriously wishing you the best.
Thank you very much.
Come the pro career that you got coming up here.
I'm excited for it. Thank you very much. Fire up Chips.